Okay, good morning, Facebook family. So I finally made it. I made it for part 3 of love. The first one, it was a love exam. We talked about the fundamentals and getting the basics out the way of an exam. We aligned it with going to a doctor's appointment. So we aligned it with going to a doctor's appointment and getting the fundamentals, the foundation laid out of why you're there, which is usually for annual, if something's bothering you, etc., etc. Then we got into the second part, which dealt with the deeper levels of love and getting the blood work done so that you could have that conversation about what you're deficient in from the inside out, right? And then, also in that vlog yesterday, we also talked about the 4 types of love. It is, please, I'm committing it to memory: storge, philia, eros, and agape. Agape being the biggest form of love there is. Eros dealing with the romantic and physical. Philia dealing with the family, and storge dealing with the empathetic relationships and friends. I think I said that right. But if I did not, Google it and or go back to yesterday's feed for the correct information. But nonetheless, I'm here and I'm excited because I am talking about love again. Okay, so now after you do all that and y'all have the conversations, and then yesterday I talked about my experience with the 4 loves, and in one I talked about how my doctor told me, or the professional or the professional in me, or the harsh critic in myself, told myself that in the area of agape, I would need supplements. And it's true. So today we're going to talk about the treatments, the many treatments of love. The first thing I needed to do in any one of these areas was develop a level of self-love. And I alluded to it in the first one, and I touched on it even more so in the second one. Matter of fact, I specifically talked about it in the second one, which was yesterday. And today I'm going to talk about self-love, because nothing can happen without me taking care of me, without loving myself, without loving up on myself, whatever terminology they use to express it. Like, unless I'm taking care of myself, they even made a song about it. I think Whitney Houston remade it. The greatest love of all, right, is loving myself. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And I learned how to love myself. If I learn how to love up on me and treat me, I will be better at treating you. I also talked about my relationships, which is in the philia stages. My philia stages relationships speak directly to the people who I've been in long-term relationships. And because I've evolved over the years, those relationships and those individuals, we all have to get on deck. We all have to be committed to the new relationship that is arising, that's coming, that's in our midst, that's approaching. Will I be settled in one place? I don't know, but I know that I'm constantly evolving. I'm finding out that each year there's a new color. The color that, like when I was younger, my favorite color was red. And I was like, that's always going to be my favorite color. But that's not the case. In the past 3 or 4 years, my ocular palette with regards to colors have changed. When I was younger, my candy favorite was Hershey with almonds. And then, as I grew up, it was M&Ms with peanuts. And then, there was Almond Joy. And then, now I've settled on the peanut butter, Reese peanut butter cup family, and any variant thereof. But anything with peanut butter, I'm very excited about. Will that be my last favorite? I don't know. But I'm just giving those examples to show you that, like, my taste and my flavor, and because I've evolved into a different person. Those are all physical aspects, you know. And then there was this phrase one time that I heard this gentleman use, what gets my attention gets me. Right? That's what he said. He said, what gets my attention gets me. And in saying that, I was like, wait a minute. He might be on to something. And I adopted that phrase for myself because I found that to be true. The very things that get my attention, that stimulate me, like we talked about love being parts of love being a stimulant. The very things that stimulate me get me. Right? And if I'm not careful, because I want to stay on the topic of love, if I'm not careful, I'll get sucked into a vortex, right? And the very things that I say that I love, right, could turn into obsessions, could turn into addictions, could turn into compulsions, right? Behaviors. I could build compulse to continue on doing it. And the very thing that helps me could turn out to be painful for me. So I guess what I'm saying is can love be harmful? Can you have too much love? And I think Barry White said it in a song, too much of anything is not good for you. Right? And then he went on, look the song up. It's Barry White. I can't remember what the song was, but I remember that phrase, too much of it. I've heard it said that too much of anything is not good for you. And then he went on into his thing, because if anybody knows that Barry dealt in a lot of love themed songs, love themed content. It was the theme of his life, talking about love, dealing with love through his ministry of music. And so now we're talking about love, and we're keeping it on point with the doctor, and he's saying this is what you need. In the area of empathy, I don't need anything. I'm good. I don't need any supplements. I don't need anything. Just continue on doing what you're doing. Continue on feeling for the next man. Continue on putting on those shoes and walking in their shoes. And before you speak, think, how would you feel if it were you? Those things right there. That's what I think of when I think of the storage love. The next one is relationships, friendships. I need a major supplement for that, because what's happening, especially in the area of my existing relationships, where my friends and my loved ones and the ones that I respect and revere have been with me over the years, and I've evolved to this person, right? And they're not used to this person. So in that area, I need a mild supplement to help them adjust. Like, what do I need to do to help them adjust? Because these are relationships that I care about. What do I need to do to help them adjust and become acclimated and introduce them to the new Tisha, right? And if this is you, ask yourself, what is it that you can do to help your friends, the people that you care about? Because I could easily, my ego, right, and hubris will have me say, you know what, this is a new me, and, if they can't get with it, oh well, they either gonna get with this or they gonna get with that. Or they could, kiss my heels. That's not the attitude. That's not the road I want to take. That's not love, right? That's not love. And going back to the empathetic part, like, what if it were done to me? Because this thing can work. It might not. Some of the people that I'm in relationships with, it might not work. It might not work. The new Tisha may not work for them. And that's okay. And I love them all the same. But what if it does, if I just take the right approach, to take the time, to act, the patience and the empathy and the tolerance to be able to sit down and say, listen, I'm forging forth into new territory. I would like nothing more than to have you there with me. And can we talk about this? And so I can tell you what I've learned in my process, because this is a learning process for me. Just like it's new to them, it's new to me too. So I'm learning. So as I'm going along and I'm learning, the people that I say I care about, why not apprise them of the process as well? Right? And this is for the people that's it, the new relationships that I'm garnering, because I am garnering new relationships right here, right now, and they're loving up on me. They're loving up on Letitia today, right? They're loving up on the Tisha that they met right now in the past couple of years. So they don't have the situation and the issues that my relationships that are already intact, that have seen me from a very desolate place up until this point. They seen me transition. They seen me blossom. They remember me when I was a bud. Does that make sense? So I don't have to do the work with them that I have with my new relationships. So that's that. Arrows. The doctor is going to have to, how you have medicine trials? The doctor is definitely going to have to try out different medications and a different regimen, because in so many different areas of Eros, romantic, physical, because Eros has a root with many branches, or it's a tree with many branches, a sub tree with many branches. Eros is romantic, right? What I see, right? The physical, right? The physical attraction, and then when we start talking about the sexual content, which we're gonna get clean this morning, right? I might have to start a night program where people can just tune in, because, I've been noticing lately that I've been saying in my feeds, we got to keep it clean. So with this content right here, you talk about sexual, like there's that person that just does it for you sexually. There's this person, when you look at them, oh my God. And then there's that person that, Eros, that's what we're talking about. The things that are ocular, the things that are felt, when your hands and palms are sweaty, that energy that person brings, and the reaction that you have as a result of interacting with them. That's an awesome thing, right? But let's not be confused about it. The very thing that feels good and puts me on my toes, right, may not always be good for me. Right? And a lot of times what happens is that I'll confuse the obsession, right? Infatuation, right? I'll confuse that with love, because the feelings that are derived from it are so intense. Yes, I told y'all I could talk about, talking about y'all men. Talking about them Eros relationships. But they bring intenseness to it, and it's exciting, and it's vibrant, and it makes you feel alive. I love it. Eros. I love it. Love. Whew. But with that has to be tempered. So the doctor would definitely be playing around with different medications, different trials, different treatments to try to get me stabilized. Because like I said yesterday, those numbers would be off the charts. Everything, because Eros deals with the emotional center. The emotional center is the nerve center of the Eros love. Like my feelings and emotions are all over the place. Like I see that guy, he excites me. And even now I'm finding with dating, now that I found out that this is a vibrant living organism that needs to be fed, and I found out that this needs to be fed, if it's fed properly, right? Like it's being done as such recently, like it could feed the Eros part of me, and then I'll be stimulated, and then we could get into the physical, and that's me keeping it clean early in the morning. So I guess what I'm saying, that the things that used to stimulate me, that would get me faster, that would get to me faster, like a good looking face or some nice money and a nice meal, and the simple things that would get you to me faster. Now it takes a little bit longer, because you have to do this, you have to do this. Is there some things you have to do? These are the many branches of the Eros tree. Right? So that my doctor, my professional, the doctor in me would definitely be playing with a lot of different things, different treatments to try to get me stabilized. And I'm evolving in that area. I'm in the fundamental stages. I'm also acutely aware that it's a fragile place to be in, because I'll end up in a situation where I processed in and I'll be trying to get out. And sometimes getting out of a situation when it's with Eros could be a little bit more difficult than how you got in. And that's the double-edged sword effect with Eros. And I kept that as clean as possible. So now we're going to talk about agape love. Now with agape love, right, I need a major overhaul. I need a love makeover with regards to agape love. And I talked about that yesterday. It's situational as well. Am I more stabilized in agape than I am in Eros? In some respects. Situational wise, depending on the situation, it's situational. I'm unconditional. But then there are situations where I'm conditional and my love comes with conditions. And I'm just keeping it 100. When you come, you got to come strapped and ready for the gills. And then you might end up with nothing. And that's vice versa with me too. I've gone into situations with guys who had that face and that money and this. And I poured in and I poured in and I poured in and I poured in only to walk away with an empty bucket. Right. So agape love is something that I'm definitely deficient in. Situational wise, like the only template that I could use where I have been as unconditional as I can be is with my son. You know, there is a group of people that I am affiliated with that unconditional love does exist. But even in situations, once they get on my nerves, right, when they're doing what I want you to do, like if you're being humble, the way I see it. And so that's not unconditional. So it's still conditions. Oh my God, I just discovered that here on video. But I'm saying all that to say, guys, I got work to do. The last two, I got work to do. What about you, Facebook family? What about you? Is your love treatment working for you? The regimen that you're receiving, the regimen that you've subscribed to, the regimen that you subscribe to, that you prescribe to yourself, or that you've been told. Because if you're working with a mentor, you know, have you been honestly, objectively told that you are lagging in the areas of love, right? Self-love being the foundation. Like, what are you doing? Where are we at? What are we working with? Right? What are we working with? So, but love is a powerful emotion. It's fluid, right? And you can get everything you want, you know, everything you want. Once you hit that main vein, right? Once you hit that main vein and realize that love is the common denominator in all relationships, it joins us like a gorilla glue if it's applied properly. So if you missed the first two, this is the last installment of the love series. There was the love exam, which I did last week. I did the love diagnosis yesterday, and today is the love treatment. How are you treating yourself? Are you loving up on yourself? Right? Are you loving up on yourself so that you can spread that love over to others? So I don't see anybody on. I see Marcy. Oh, hey, Marcy, how are you? How are you feeling? I know you probably can't talk because I saw your feed the other day. You went to the dentist. But how are you feeling? How are you doing? Talking about love. That's a song, isn't it? Isn't that a song? By Patti LaBelle. When you talk about love. And I'm not singing this morning. So, you guys have a good day. You deserve it. We're still in the midst of a pandemic. If you have gotten your vaccine, awesome, great, brilliant. If you have not and you made a decision not to, there's no judgment here. However, I just want you to bear in mind that we are in the midst of a pandemic. There are people that are immunocompromised. You affect them, right? If you are reckless, right? I affect them if I am reckless, right? So mask. Where's my mask? Oh my God, where's my mask? Hand sanitizer. Take the necessary precautions because we are a link in a chain and we are only as strong as our weakest link. And if you're the weakest link, then guess what? That's all I'm saying. Talking about love. You guys have a good day. You deserve it. And you definitely deserve it if you are pursuing it. Until we speak again. And I'm going to get back to this.